Hello guys on YouTube, how are you guys today? Well, I'm doing pretty good myself, but today we got a little fun for all you guys who wants to make stuff out of Plaster. The zombie creating kit. I actually made one of them. It was kind of fun, it was very interesting, and it's ready to come out of its mold. By the way, it does come with all of the materials you're going to need for this project. It's going to come with 3 bags of plaster, the paint, a stunning stick, paintbrush, gloves, and a max. The only thing it does not come with is a newspaper or cloth for you can actually put on your table, for you do not make a giant mess with the plaster. Now, I would recommend upgrading the gloves and the max with a rubberized gloves or just a surgical max like this one, and that's what I actually used to make this one mold or one plaster here. Right down here. You guys can see here is the box and everything is laid out on the dust for you guys can actually see what comes with this style kit if you're very interested of making your own stuff. Now, the one thing I really want to explain to you guys is don't rush this, because this plaster would take a very long time, about 4 days to fully harden and fully dry. If you take it out too soon, you might break the actual plaster itself, or you might break and destroy your mold. And I actually done that a couple of times here, guys. It's not fun. I actually broke a couple molds and actually broke the plaster by popping it out way too soon. But yes, it would take a little longer for the plaster to harden inside the plastic mold. I understand that. Trust me. Now, the reason why we got here is this is for all the safety stuff here. You only need your gloves, newspaper, and also face mask. The face mask you put over your face where you do not breathe in the plaster dust when you're making this stuff. You also need warm water for this as well. For this is actually set up. It's kind of cool. It's very interesting. Now, the materials. So it's over here. You guys can see we have 3 different molds. It makes 3 different zombie kits as well. That's what's nice about it. And you also got some paint right here. You guys notice we got the stone stick, a little paintbrush, the gloves, and a tiny little face mask to actually protect yourself from getting the plaster dust in your lungs and stuff. And here is the one of the bags of plaster. That's what's one of these will actually fill one of these molds. That's what I did with this one, is I filled it all the way up to the edge and stopped. Make sure you don't overfill it, because if you overfill it, it can kind of go on the sides and make a horrible mess. Now, the one thing is, I'd recommend upgrading your mixing bowl. This is not suitable for this one bag of plaster. Now, this is fully cooled and very hardened, and it's ready to come out of its mold. Now, the one thing is, you're going to need some gloves. Some rubberized gloves. Now, if you're allergic to latex, I recommend using the actual gloves in that bag itself. And this is the one thing I actually truly recommend everybody have. If you're going to deal with plaster, or if you're going to make anything out of plaster, have a face mask to protect your lungs and your health as well with playing with this plaster. And we're going to need some, just a standard newspaper. It doesn't matter what newspaper it is. Old, new, it doesn't matter. Old, ratty, it'll work just fine for a drop cloth on your desk or your table or your whole type of surface. You want to make sure you protect that as well, so you don't get a lot of plaster everywhere. Now, let me go ahead and show you some of the molds so you guys can see. Make sure it's no contaminants of dust or lint or debris inside your mold, and make sure you get everything out of here before you start casting your own molds. Now, you guys can see this little guy here has a bit of a defect. It's not a whole lot I can do about that, guys. If may heat up a little bit and see if you guys can actually get that little dent out of the mold. Now, once it's been poured in, that's actually going to take the shape of that dent itself. Trust me, I've done that before too. Now here's this one. This is a nice mold. It's the exact same mold. That's this guy right here. You guys can see. This is what I might be doing next. And it's a very simple plastic mold. Now, you do not want to break this. You want to make sure you do it very gently before you actually take it out of the mold. Now, what happens if the plastic does break? It's not a whole lot you really can do. Just be very careful with that. Now, this one is ready to come out. You guys notice we do got some air bubbles in the plaster. Like I said, I don't know why it does that, but that's just the way it does. You guys can see. Here's what it looks like actual inside the mold itself. You guys can see it takes all the shapes and sizes of the mold itself. Now, this is not rubberized mold at all. This is only plastic. Plastic is a very rigid and very flexible piece of material, but if you overstretch it, or if you tear it, or if you bend it, it will actually break the mold. And over time, these molds will wear out, but you can make how many molds of plaster you want with this type of kit. Would be very interesting to actually do. That's the reason why it only comes with 3 bags of plaster and 3 different style molds. This is the one I made. I make that one and that one next week. It'd be very interesting to actually see how this actually goes. Now, the longer you leave it sit, the better, because if you pop it out way too soon, you're going to actually break your cast of the plaster itself. Now, if you guys really want me to take this out, I'm going to take it out for you guys, but make sure you're very careful. You can push on one side or on the other one. Just wiggle it loose. She will eventually come out of the mold. Do it gently, you guys, very gently, because once it slips out, because it will actually break this. Now, this is now solid, and it's really cool a lot. I really like it, except for you got some minor defects, but that's typically normal, and that's typically what happens to plaster if you leave it into the mold too long, or if you didn't shake it enough and you didn't get all the air pockets out of it. That's the biggest problem. Now, if I knock on it, you can tell it's actually solid, and that's not going to break. Now, if you actually do drop it, it would literally break. Now, if this is actually fully wet, if it's damp, do not take it out of the mold. Now, the one thing I like is it will stand up by itself, and that's a good thing, because that's, you have it properly supported by this little foot, and it holds upright. Now, you can use it indoors or outdoors. That's up to you. Now, this is the mold I made. I made sure it had absolutely no contaminants or no materials or dust on the mold itself. Now, you can make how many of these you want to make for your decorations of Halloween stuff. That's what's the fun of it, and that's what's the name of it. Now, like I said, I don't know. This is my first time doing anything with a plaster mold. I'm going to try it one more time. We're going to try it with a different style mold and see if we don't get any air bubbles in the plaster. Now, this is ready to be painted, but I'm going to let it hold it up some more and see if it's ready to be painted. Now, if it's too wet, it won't be painted. Now, it does have some slight of sharp edging. I would recommend filing that down with some sandpaper. That would take away the filing issue of the sharp edges on the plaster itself. But remember, this is called casting with this zombie coating kit. And that's what's really nice, and that's really unique about the system. You can use whatever you want, but use the materials it comes with this style kit. Now, you can paint them the exact same way on the front of the box if you want, or if you want a different way, you can do that. Now, I'm going to choose maybe this guy right here. Maybe it's this one. Is it this one? I'm going to choose this one, and we're going to make a different style mold this time and see what it actually comes out with. Now, again, with the certain types of dents in the plastic, it will actually take the shape of the dent inside the plastic. Now, do not break your plastic molds, because once it's been broken, you can't actually cast any more of your lovely molds like these. These are kind of cool, very interesting. That's the reason why I like doing this. Now, of course, it's not really flat on the back, but it's flat enough. But it does have some circling and effect on the back. But do be careful when you're making this stuff. If you're a whole lot younger, I'd recommend having a grown adult or a grown sister or brother to help you guys out with this type of project. Now, we got all out. Looks very nicely. It looks very clean. We're going to make one more and see what we come out with. Alright guys, if you are brand new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button. Please leave a comment down below. Please like, please share. Peace out. Bye guys. Well, please see you in the next vlog. Thank you for watching today's vlog. Alright, later guys. Have fun with your zombie creating kit.